Hello, Molly Wallen here. For this week's assignment, we are to do a video presentation on one of the aircraft systems of the Canadair Regional Jet. The system that I have chosen to discuss this week is the hydraulic system. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. So just doing a quick general information on the hydraulic system. It is a pressurized hydraulic fluid which powers the primary as well as the secondary flight controls, the wheel brakes, the nose wheel steering, as well as the extension and retraction of the landing gear. This fluid is called Skydrol, which is purple in color, and it is highly corrosive. Some of the systems, as well as the primary flight controls, are operated by more than one hydraulic system. This is just a form of redundancy in case anything were to go wrong. There are 3 hydraulic systems in total. They each are comprised of a main pump as well as a backup pump. Systems 1 and Systems 2 are operated by an engine-driven pump, while System 3's main pump is an electric motor pump, or an ACMP, as I will be calling it for the remainder of this presentation. Just some of the components that we'll be talking about are the 3 main hydraulic systems, the 6 pumps, 2 per system, the hydraulic control panel, the accumulator, the hydraulic shutoff valve, the reservoirs, the synoptic page, and then finally just going over my references. So let's go ahead and get started. If you look here at the top left-hand page, we have our Canadair Regional Jet. You can see there are 3 different colors depicted with pink, green, and orange. Hydraulic System 1 is displayed with the green, and you are able to tell this because it goes to the number 1 engine or the engine on the left-hand side. Hydraulic System number 2 is shown in orange because it then goes to the primary flight controls as well as the right side. And then finally, our hydraulic system number 3 is pink going up to the nose wheel steering. And then just very quickly, you can see, as I've already previously sort of mentioned, hydraulic systems 1 and 2 both operate primary flight controls, just as a form of redundancy in case anything would go wrong during the flight. Hydraulic 1 does not deal with the brakes at all, while hydraulic System 2 deals with the outboard. Hydraulic system number 3 deals with the inboard brakes. As I had previously mentioned, the secondary flight controls, for those of you who don't know what that is, it just consists of your horizontal stabilizer, inboard and outboard flaps, flight spoilers, ground spoilers, and then various trim systems without the aircraft. The display on the right-hand side here, it just shows you the power distributions to our hydraulic systems 1, hydraulic systems 3, and then on the right, the hydraulic systems 2. If you wanted to take a look at that, you'll just have a better idea on what they each operate and deliver power to. So getting started, we have our main pumps. As I previously mentioned, hydraulic systems 1 and hydraulic systems 2 are engine driven. Our hydraulic system 3 is the AC motor pump. The main pumps deliver fluid at 3,000 psi, and they are operating whenever their associated engine is running. The main pumps, they meet the needs under normal flight conditions. So for backup pumps, we have 4 ACMPs. However, all 3 backup pumps, that just means that all 3 of those backup pumps are the electric motor pumps, because our main for number 2 is also an ACMP. So your backup pumps, those are just called your B pumps. They provide an equal amount of pressure as the main pumps, but they are not operated continuously during normal flight conditions. Just as the main pumps do, they deliver that fluid at 3,000 psi. Unlike the main pumps, these backup pumps or B pumps can be controlled by the switches in the cockpit, which is on your hydraulic control panel, which let's go ahead and talk about that right now. The hydraulic control panel, which is displayed here on the right-hand side, you can see there are 4 switches. That is your hydraulics 1B, 2B, and 3B. Those are all 3-position switches, which is your on, off, and auto. And then our 3A pump is a 2-switch position, which just goes on and off. So this is located on the sub-panel on the overhead panel inside of the flight deck. Once again, 4 switches. So first, let's go ahead and talk about our auto. This is operated during the normal flight, so normal flight switch position. Just means that your pump will be operated when the associated generator, its cross-side generator, is operating, and then your flaps are not at 0. Off, pretty basic. It just means that your ACMP is turned off. And then whenever the switch is in the on mode, that means that your ACMP is in manual mode. So very quickly, we'll just discuss the accumulator. It's just a mini reservoir that provides an instantaneous burst of hydraulic pressure. It's gas charged with a dry nitrogen, and then each system is provided with an accumulator for pump pulsation dampening. Hydraulic shutoff valve. This sounds pretty obvious based on the name. This is designed to interrupt or cut off that flow from your reservoir to your engine-driven pump. It is typically, the valve is typically in the on position. However, the pilots are manually able to cut it or turn it off. This is done by pressing the fire push switch light. So obviously turning that fire push switch light is going to turn on, and that's just going to cut off that flow from your reservoirs to the engine driven pump. Our hydraulic systems 1 and 2, as I had mentioned, they are engine driven. So that just means that they are susceptible to higher temperatures. And because they are susceptible to these higher temperatures, they just need a way of cooling down. So this kind of down below is how I described that. A portion of the fluid is circulated inside of this casing, which provides lubrication and cooling to the engine. The drain fluid is cooled by an air hydraulic oil heat exchanger. And then these 2 oils, even though they are in the same heat exchanger, these 2 fluids are not mixed at all. And then just a side note, on the ground, an electric fan draws the air from the ramp air scoop for cooling. Reservoirs. Each hydraulic system does have a dedicated hydraulic fluid reservoir. It is sealed and filled via the ground surface panel. You can monitor your temperatures, pressure, and quantity, which will be shown on the synoptic page, which let's go ahead and jump on into right now. If you take a look here on the right-hand side, the top left shows the flight deck. The darkened panel shows the synoptic page. It's just the operating status of each of our systems. So typically you want to see it in green. That just means everything is running smoothly. This essentially is just a live feedback of what is going on. So if you see that it is yellow, that just means something abnormal is going on and it needs monitored and checked out. And here I have my final resources and reference page. Thank you so much, and I really hope that you enjoyed the presentation.